Tonight on Podcast Them Down, it's fucking Thanksgiving. Hail Metal Nation. It's Thanksgiving in the United States. It's a month after Canada's Thanksgiving. And as far as I know, the rest of the world has no Thanksgiving. So I've prepared even less than usual. But yeah, go ahead. But I do have. Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna come in hot, but I guess not. Go ahead.
No, going hot.
No, it's too late.
No, it's Thanksgiving, Tim, and God damn it, like Thanksgiving's about family, and we're family,
passion,
and we're all metal family. So you should go ahead.
Is eggnog a Thanksgiving drink? Discuss.
Oh God, it is certainly not, and it is not even actually Thanksgiving. Oh my God. Okay.
I don't think it's technically a drink.
Yeah, it's a Thanksgiving. It's not a Thanksgiving, but it's a Christmas-related colloid, and it is not. It drinks have to be liquids. I'm pretty sure it's
liquid.
Whatever Jello.
See if I can look how look what it's done to the glass.
Oh my God, man!
And look,
okay,
I sprinkled some poison on top because that's what you're supposed to do.
I would like to apologize for Metal Nation, specifically those of you expecting a full-blown Thanksgiving episode. We assigned to Dave to prepare our Thanksgiving episode this year, but I believe he's at a fish-adjacent event. What did you say, Tim?
We were discussing a possible opening slot for a band, and he sent me a fish calendar, and he said as long as it's not on any of these dates.
Okay.
What the fuck?
I mean, a part of me admires the fact that he is a fish calendar.
Wasn't Dave was on the menu for last Thanksgiving? Isn't that where we ended?
Yeah.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
That sounds vaguely familiar. I might have to go outside and listen to the original Thanksgiving episode. But today we're just going to be much more freeform. We have a lot of things to get to. Doug has a new Thanksgiving classic to recommend to everybody that we're going to discuss. I have some amazing facts about the Toiki from a point of view of a wild animal website that I just Googled. And I'm sure Tim has something that we can be thankful. Maybe we'll talk about what we're thankful for. I don't know. Tim has something, but I
can start.
Go ahead.
The second highest listenership of this podcast is Germany. Do Germans know what an American Thanksgiving is like?
That's a great question. Germans.
So I'm just gonna describe it.
Okay.
Like all U.S. holidays, you eat too much food. So I believe it's similar to like the Christmas dinner, only it's a turkey, not a goose. That Mr. Bean has in Mr. Bean's Christmas,
oh yeah,
right?
You mean Herr Bean because they're German.
Yes.
the comedy stylings of Herr Bean.
Yeah, so if you need a rundown of some of the foods, listen to last year's Thanksgiving special. But it's stuffing and turkey and cranberry sauce, which I guess do they have cranberries in Europe?
I think they're an American food, but I'm sure they've translated.
Gravy.
Lingonberries and
lingonberry.
Yeah, it's similar to a lingonberry, but kind of. Then there's mashed potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes, mac and cheese,
macaroni cheese.
I forget if I said dressing, so that's 4 starches in a row.
Ooh, that's a lot of starches.
Yes, and then
rolls.
Like crescent rolls. Yeah, some kind of rolls. Yep. And
corn, succotash.
I guess. Green bean casserole. That's an American thing. Oh, so it's green bean casserole is canned green beans mixed with condensed cream of mushroom soup and covered in fried onions. How that's like American on American on American.
I mean, but I feel like succotash is one of those like fake Algonquin words that we've like kind of like co-opted into English. So that's got to be in there. It says it's a Narragansett word, sacotashash. So I mean that they probably even had that shit at the first Thanksgiving. So we should make succotash a Thanksgiving food.
Well, if we're going by first Thanksgiving, then we shouldn't have turkey. But the
What? Oh, we should have lobsters. Fuck you.
and
And
but then
cod.
I wouldn't mind some cod.
Okay, I'm gonna bring lobsters and cod for Thanksgiving. Let's see.
Wait,
wolf
just for
those
me
down.
I forgot what. And then come the pies, plural. So there you go. And then many people just do the exact same thing for Christmas, or maybe they'll swap out the turkey for a ham. But
Okay.
so there you go. I assume the same thing with Canadian Thanksgiving, only 1 month earlier. So
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, Canadians eat much the same thing on their Thanksgiving.
and
It's a
no
similar
eggnog. I
origin
just
story.
saw it. I just saw it at the stores. I was like,
Although
oh.
I'm pretty sure that they call turkey a walking bird.
I was like, is it nog season already? So I went ahead and purchased it.
I mean, I guess
I'm regretting every
sell it-
sip. Oh, do they know what
Americans-
eggnog is?
This holiday is important to Americans because it's the only one of our holidays that's not about material consumption at this point.
it's about the consumption of material.
Yeah.
Right. Eggnog is basically, if you've ever made an ice cream base,
Mm-hmm.
it's
That's
like
great.
it's like drinking an overspiced ice cream based mixed with do you put rum or whiskey in yours, or vodka?
I usually put rum in mine.
I think
And then sometimes
I
if
think
I
George
have,
Washington famously put whiskey in his.
yeah, I think the sweetness of the rum and the egg base go well together.
Wait, so did we invent eggnog?
I
mean,
mean, they had
No
it
way.
300 years ago. That probably came from England.
Nog may stem from noggin, a Middle English term for a small carved wooden mug.
Middle English.
However,
There you go.
The British drink was called an egg flip from the practice of flipping, rapidly pouring the mixture between two pitchers to mix it. The word
sounds
eggnog,
it sounds like a hot toddy, but without the fire.
the word eggnog is an Americanism invented in the 1760s. Sometimes I put sherry in it. Sometimes I put brandy in it because I feel like those are more sophisticated liqueurs. But I will put rum in it. I feel like that's more American.
About a Colt 45?
Well, very rarely Colt 45. And I'm an old English malt liquor guy.
You said coat, and it reminded me. And then lots of football. Everyone watches foot. I don't. American football. We don't.
Yes.
There's usually.
I do.
I don't. One of the by we I mean my the people in my house. So,
Oh.
Many high schools and colleges here have long-running Thanksgiving Day games.
Mhm. Oh yeah, turkey. What is it called? Turkey bowls or something?
Yes, including the City Poly in Baltimore and Calvert Hall Loyola Wakefield.
Yep. There's insipid people who wake up on Thanksgiving Day and go do a 5K or a 10K, and they call it a turkey trot.
I
And
forgot
those
about that. Yeah.
Rot in the ground.
And then
Do that?
my favorite, I only went to it once, but in Essex, Dundalk, East Baltimore County, they play so it's got the water treatment plant that right there that produced this kind of florid smell. It's right by the old Sam's Club and that abandoned Ames, Tim.
Oh, yeah, I know where you're talking about.
Well, it sounds sounds bad. Do I sound okay?
No, you sound
I'm
great.
getting a lot of static.
You're a little crispy, but not.
But that's
not
how
so
I like
bad.
my turkey.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a rundown of Thanksgiving. All right. So that's all my prepared bits. So
Okay.
how about you two continue to discuss, and I'll chip in with some of these so-called funny Thanksgiving jokes.
Wait, you have Thanksgiving jokes?
Yeah, such as why do turkeys hate the kitchen on Thanksgiving? Because because it smells foul.
Oh shit! I was gonna say because their bodies are being roasted.
Hold on.
Oh man, that's amazing. I feel like should we move on to a holy shit? Doug is gone. Okay, hold on. Well, I'm gonna give you while I'm waiting for Doug, because I really do want to discuss in depth our new Thanksgiving classic with Doug. But while we're waiting for Doug to come back,
Let's warm up with two other Thanksgiving classics.
okay.
There aren't that many Thanksgiving movies.
Yeah, there's very few Thanksgiving classics. I can only think of one.
I was reading a well-researched listicle, and they put Rocky in there
Rocky?
because there's a Thanksgiving scene.
But that doesn't count.
It doesn't count. This the next one probably also doesn't count. Addams Family Values.
Okay, I would argue that Addams Family Values is also not a Thanksgiving movie.
I agree.
But it does have an iconic Thanksgiving theme. So, like, if you haven't seen Addams Family Value, what the fuck is wrong with your life? It's the greatest movie ever made. And so I believe Gary has who's a camp counselor and
So
dramaturg.
strike one right there. It's they're at a summer camp.
Well, it's a summer camp, but the play that the camp is gonna put on is an homage to the first Thanksgiving.
Right. Right.
And so there's a whole scene. There's a musical. Sarah Miller is the lead pilgrim, and her skin is like fresh milk.
Well, the I think the IMDb synopsis puts it well.
Right. I'm back.
Hey, Doug's back.
You sound great.
We're talking about two Thanksgiving classics before we get to our new Thanksgiving classic.
And
Doug.
we've already
Well,
decided.
it's a
What?
fucking conspiracy. There I am talking about something Baltimore related.
Oh, and the
mic goes out.
drops.
Okay, well, we can back it up and you can finish
Oh
your
shit!
thought.
Yeah, okay.
So you're at the Ames. You're the water treatment plant.
Near the water treatment plant.
Yeah, which is either it's looks like a pair of tits potentially, or it's called the two golden eggs. Anyway,
Wait, where is it? There it is. Yeah.
it produces a very foul smell. So
Hey.
I love Thanksgiving.
now, to be blunt, it's in Dundalk. Everyone knows that, but they don't know that. So every Thanksgiving at Sparrows Point High, folks from Dundalk and Essex play a football game that's called the Toilet Bowl.
Oh my god!
And the winning town gets the honor of owning the waste treatment plant for the year.
Oh my god!
This sounds so made up. Hang on. Treatment, toilet bowl.
He's gonna win the toilet bowl this year. Baltimore toilet bowl. Can we go to this?
They'll probably draft you, but yeah.
I mean, I will fucking be there. Toilet bowl game has added significance this year. There's a little tradition.
I see the Back River wastewater treatment picture, and yeah, I'd say your description is accurate.
Uh-huh.
Wait, can I read you verbatim this article from the Avenue News? Toilet bowl game has added significance this year. There's a little tradition that takes place in Dundalk on Thanksgiving Day, and it doesn't involve parades, turduckens, or food comas. It's the Toilet Bowl, and the name is appropriate. Teams from Essex and Dundalk play a tackle football game to determine which community may claim ownership over the Back River sewage treatment plant. And yes, it's the losers who own the plant for the next year. This year's Toilet Bowl has added significance.
The losers get it. I thought they were they were fighting to see who claims the victory of having it.
A regular participant in the game, Brandon Baumel of Edgemere, passed away last summer. This year's game will be dedicated to Brandon. As a memorial for Brandon, his family will provide shirts for the players in this year's game and will be accepting donations towards starting a scholarship in Brandon's name at his alma mater, Sparrows Point High. The scholarship will be awarded to a male and female graduating senior at Sparrows Point. The game is held at Sparrows Point High School and starts at 9 a.m. Participants should arrive by 8:45 to organize teams and receive the shirts. In order to make sure enough shirts are available, players should visit the Toilet Bowl event page on Facebook and indicate their interest in participating. The game has grown so popular that there are now usually enough players to form 4 teams. It is also becoming more of a popular tradition to play a pickup football game on Thanksgiving morning without the ownership of the sewage treatment plant at stake.
So wait, they play an unregulated tackle football game
Of course.
Yes.
on county property too, or
Your Montgomery County is showing, Tim.
yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck else would you play?
Man. We gotta go to was it Sparrow Point?
There is
gotta go.
Point High.
I don't.
gotta
In
go.
Edgemere.
We need more patrons so we can pay the toll.
Oh yeah, because we're gonna go through the tunnel. Whether it's the 895 or the 95.
Right, or
Actually,
the
I
Francis
was-
Scott Key Bridge.
Yeah, I was
which
thinking
is
the
better.
Francis
That
Scott Key Bridge. That'll
puts
get
you
you
right
to
at
Sparrows Point.
Oh
Edgemere.
man.
That's right, and
Amazing.
and you get to see the collapsed steel industry. Anyway,
Man.
Oh, hey, Trade Point Atlantic is doing okay. Oh, another. This will be in the Christmas episode. I also highly recommend you can see the Star of Bethlehem, or as we call it, Bethlehem.
Bethlehem.
Lit. It's usually about mid-December, but some patriotic Christ-loving steel workers in the 80s built it. It's 2 tons of steel. It used to sit on top of the old foundry at Sparrows Point, and it has been saved, and it's now the symbol of Trade Point Atlantic. But it's a big county event. They light it every year, and it's just touching and a lot of fun to go to.
that is neat. That's a lot of metal. That is literally metal.
That is a huge fucking star.
But we got to save that for the Christmas special.
Yeah, okay, that's that's a Christmas.
We haven't.
It's 28 feet wide and weighs 1.5 tons.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
It's the Star of Bethlehem Steel.
All right, so now that we've got
Okay, but that's
that
Christmas.
situated, I want to go back further.
Okay.
We do
All right.
make Thanksgiving.
Wait, are we going forward?
No, we went back more because we need to tie up a loose end.
Okay, all right, hold on.
We do make Thanksgiving about material possessions because
Oh shit, we really did go back.
yes, because Black Friday starts the next day.
Well,
And have you ever known anyone who like has Thanksgiving and then goes out at midnight for when the store opens?
I
And then,
have
like
not.
is in the Walmart stampede to fight over like 33-cent towels or whatever?
No, I don't really know anyone.
Yeah, I always assumed it was a myth because I've never done it, and don't know anyone who has done it, and I don't know of any stores that go, we're opening at midnight.
But I've seen enough news footage. I'm a big local news fan, as some of my friends will tell you.
Having worked at a giant big box, I can tell you that people definitely come for sales and get very angry when your offer is shit.
Yeah, which it almost always is. It's definitely not worth not sleeping. Not worth not sleeping. Yeah, there we go. That's right.
I think long ago I worked at Blockbuster, and I think we did I forget what we did, but I definitely worked with people who went every year.
I mean, I've worked at Barnes & Noble, and we opened at regular hours on Black Friday. I do remember that I wasn't allowed to go home on Thanksgiving until we had set up Black Friday. But I don't think I was there at like midnight or anything.
Well, my time in retail was very short.
Oh, the kiosk?
And
there wasn't a run on keys?
No. And actually, I never worked over Thanksgiving, so maybe he did open for Key Madness at midnight.
I mean, Quiznos didn't have like a Black Friday deal?
No, because all the food places I worked at knew they couldn't staff on Thanksgiving.
You couldn't get like a.
So I always had Thanksgiving
turkey,
off too.
A turkey sub or something.
No. Nope. There was always, I mean, like Wawa.
Have Quiznos cater your Thanksgiving.
Wawa has a Thanksgiving sub right now that has stuffing and cranberry sauce on it, and turkey, obviously. And I think it's supposed to come with gravy, but America. All right. So let's move forward.
Okay.
Again, which as you know,
we're going to keep talking about farm stores for a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm living out west now, and we don't have them.
You don't have a Highs or a Royal Farms?
There's no Highs, no Royal Farms, no Wawa, no Sheets.
No Rudders?
No Rudders.
Circle K?
No, Circle K, yeah, we do have those. And there's AM, PM. And I don't know if we have them in Maryland still, but Sinclair Oil.
I'm
with the Brontosaurus.
Yeah.
The ones out here are built kind of like our Royal Farms, but the restaurant part's not run by the oil people. But yeah, that's a real Mid-Atlantic thing. And it was most of them were founded by dairy co-ops that used to do door-to-door delivery and then switched to storefronts and selling gasoline and milk. But it's totally something that's New York down to Virginia and then in Florida, and then they don't have it in the rest of the country, and it sucks.
Beautiful Skaggsville, Maryland still has a Highs.
There's still a Highs in Fulton, Maryland. Oh yeah, no, that's next to Skaggsville. It's the same town. All right. I think Mount Airy is where there's another Highs.
Oh, there's definitely a Highs in Mount Airy. There's probably two.
Royal Farms fucking sucks. So the thing about these places is it's 24-hour food that's like probably good. And Wawa is known for their hoagies, which you can make a hoagie at any time and it's probably good, right? But Royal Farm sells fried chicken, which you can't make on the fly. And say it's 3 a.m. and you're driving around and you're like, I want some food. You go to Royal Farms. No one knows how long that chicken's been sitting there. And it's not good. It used to be good, but now it's not good. So there goes our Royal Farm endorsement.
Do you have a dinger ready?
I do.
Okay, I'm gonna read you according to Google Maps the towns in Maryland that have a Highs convenience store. Number 1, Odenton, Jessup, Gambrels.
Where is it? Jessup. Gambrels is next to Odenton.
Millersville.
Hey.
Fulton.
Also known as Skag.
Dundalk,
Dundalk.
Edgewater,
Hey,
Glenegg,
that's out in the country.
Perry Hall,
That's where your video games are designed.
Cooksville,
I don't know what the fuck's there.
West Friendship. Now those are
That's
your
also
highs
nowhere.
towns.
Yeah,
Man.
that was about like
great.
10 more than I
Oh,
expected.
wait. Hold up. Breaking news. Sykesville,
No surprise there.
Woodbine.
wait. What?
Oh,
Okay. let's go back forward.
no. Okay, all right.
Which-
all right.
As you know, the sound for that is this.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
All
All
right.
right. Done. Okay.
So, Adam's Family Values.
All right, okay.
The IMDb description of the Thanksgiving pageant is meanwhile Gary and Becky, the two counselors, have arranged the end of camp play, an incredibly inaccurate and prejudiced musical about the first Thanksgiving. Amanda Buckman is given the lead role of the Pilgrim heroine Sarah Miller, while Wednesday is cast in the secondary but still compellingly written role of Pocahontas.
Mm-hmm.
Pugsley, Joel, and the other misfit campers become even more at odds with the rest of the camp, but Wednesday...
I mean, Pugsley plays the turkey, and his line is, "I am a turkey. Kill me and eat me," I believe.
Yeah, they really, eat me.
Because I'm good and dead. Yeah, it's and then there's a revenge scene. It's actually really good. It's a good Thanksgiving scene, but I would say it's not a Thanksgiving movie. It doesn't take place over Thanksgiving. It takes place over the summer. It's a femme fatale movie. It's Joan Cusack's single greatest role. But I love that film. But it's not a Thanksgiving movie.
All right, so
Well,
what
I have
is
to
a
say-
Thanksgiving movie? Yeah, go ahead.
This discussion is bullshit because we all know what the best Thanksgiving scene in a movie is.
Is it Rocky?
I know what it is. It's not Rocky. Dave
No.
and I, not Dave, Doug. Actually, Dave should know. If anyone should know, Dave should know, technically. But the best scene, Doug, I'm going to give you a line from the movie. You move too far for relatives.
Oh,
you don't cut the toiki.
You cut the toiki without
until
me?
everyone arrives.
So I know I know that line, but I don't know what that's from.
It is from Barry Levinson's intergenerational historical drama set in Baltimore
Yes.
Oh,
called Avalon. It's a fantastic movie.
A wonderful movie.
It has a great scene. It's the East. Actually, I think they're Russian immigrants.
Yeah, something like that. They're like a Jewish Eastern European Jewish immigrants. They moved to Baltimore in like the turn of the century or something.
Yeah, depicted in Electric Park, which is a real amusement park. You see in
Yeah.
the very beginning.
They're Polish.
And they all buy row houses in Avalon, and then they move out into the outer city and then into the suburbs. I think
Right,
it's three
so-
stages.
But one of them, one sibling stays in the city, or at least doesn't move as far out as the more successful one, and so they have Thanksgiving at the more successful. Too far for relative the more successful guy's house, and the other guy gets really upset because they cut the toiki before he even got there.
Well, they set it up real well because there's earlier scenes of earlier Thanksgivings where they're talking about this custom and how kind of strange it is eating this bird. What does this all mean? And then they get socialized into it too and integrated into their own family patterns. And then this thing that we saw being meaningless before ends up this schism caused in the family because the one brother disrespected the others by cutting the toiki.
And it's such a great I need to watch Avalon. It's such a great movie. It's such a great kind of it's really an homage to America and an homage to Baltimore, and it really like a meditation on these stupid little traditions we have. It's just such a great film, and how the tradition itself is utterly meaningless beyond the meanings we give it ourselves. It's a great film. It's not that funny of a conversation, except you cut the toiki. I mean, that's great to say. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Doug. It's 1000% the best Thanksgiving movie, except for possibly
Scene.
Well, I mean,
is it a whole movie? I haven't seen it.
The movie is not a Thanksgiving movie. Thanksgiving is a key element in the movie.
Yeah, and multiple points in these people's lives. It's very important.
But I would not say that Avalon is a Thanksgiving movie.
It's an epic kind of immigrant experience movie,
Yeah.
and Barry Levinson specifically made it because really it's only the Jewish experience out of New York that has been the story told many
Right.
times.
It's a love letter to Baltimore. It's a love letter to, I wouldn't say it's a love letter to America, but maybe it's a love letter to the American experience.
Certainly idealized America.
I mean, but it's not a great. It's not like all fun and games.
No, and there's so many great, like when they turn on the television and the kids, you get to see all three channels, which are the actual Baltimore channels, like WBAL, WJZ, and then they live in this world of plenty, and then some relatives who had experienced the Holocaust come, and they're used to this world of nothing, and then they come, and these people are obsessed with these boxes that talk and have everything. It's one of the better sort of immigrant experience dramas I've ever seen. I highly recommend the whole Barry Levinson Baltimore trilogy, which is actually 4 movies. I don't know what happened to him. I think Tin Man is my favorite comedy ever. It doesn't have a Thanksgiving scene, though it has. Matt, have you seen Tin Man?
Tin Man is great. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's such a great.
You remember the smorgasbord scene?
Yes. So great.
That's so good.
I have
seen Tin Man because you made me watch
that's
it.
right.
Yeah. I enjoyed that one.
We should also mention that Barry Levinson wrote and directed my favorite Christmas movie, Toys. But again, we can't talk about that now because that's for the
another
Christmas
thing.
episode.
Well, I do want to bring up the worst movie to be in a 4-film trilogy filmed in Baltimore is definitely Live Free or Die Hard.
Okay.
However, my father-in-law's back is in that movie.
Well, I mean, so that's a plus, I guess.
It is.
I guess.
Yeah. And the door to one of our friends' bars.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So Avalon, great movie, great Thanksgiving scene, not a Thanksgiving movie. Adam's Family Values, great movie, great Thanksgiving related scene, not even a Thanksgiving scene per se, but not a great Thanksgiving movie.
All right. Best Thanksgiving movie until possibly tonight, but you're not going to change my mind. No, you're not going to change my mind. Is 1987's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where Neil Page, played by Steve Martin, at his peak, is trying to get home from New York. He's an ad exec. He's trying to get home from New York to Chicago to be with his family for Thanksgiving. But through a series of misfortunes, his flight is delayed and then eventually rerouted. Along the way, he meets up with Del Griffith, played by John Candy, at his height. And it's
And also at his weight, we should point.
right. And he tags along with Neil, and they get diverted to Wichita.
Yeah. So there's a snowstorm. They don't make it to Chicago, and they just get diverted further west and further south until I believe they do start in Wichita.
And then they're spending the movie trying to get home to Neil's home in Chicago.
But it's great because it's a tight little movie. It has a very clear finish line. I think it's Tuesday. He leaves on Tuesday?
Yeah, he leaves on a Tuesday to get home on... Yeah, because he
Thursday.
says, I've been wearing the same underwear since Tuesday.
Right. Because his friend, that other guy in every Chris or John Hughes movie, didn't leave until Thursday or didn't leave until Wednesday or something.
Right. Yeah. And Neil Page, Steve Martin's character, hates John Candy's character. John Candy's character is just like, I don't know what's a good word for it. You know, he's very happy, but he's like talky. And
he talks too much, but you know what? He also listens too much.
And, you know, he's got lots of disgusting habits. But also in this movie, Kevin Bacon's in it briefly. And so is Michael McKean.
The woman who plays Jeffrey Jones's secretary in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is an important thing to point out, is in it as the Alamo car rental lady.
Oh yeah. What a great scene. So that scene is the only reason it's rated R.
Okay, so she says you're fucked.
I thought the movie's not rated R, and it's famous for not being rated R.
No,
it's a non-R fuck?
No.
Yeah, because this is before everything's solidified.
No, it's rated R. It's rated R, and it's only because they said fuck about 35 times in 2 minutes. And... something like that.
Not a fucking Buick, not a fucking
Datsun, a fucking Nissan, 4 fucking wheels and a fucking seat. So.
Oh yeah, they did say the fuck word a lot.
Yeah, so they reshot that entire scene to show it on TV. There's nothing rated R about the entire rest of the movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's PG. I mean, in content apart from that one scene.
Yeah, so IMDb has it rated R.
That's gotta be rated R.
And it could be a false memory on my part. I could have sworn it was PG, and it was famously kind of like incongruous.
No, that's like Barbarella. Like somehow Barbarella is PG, even though it's about like orgasmatrons and stuff. I like how the Wikipedia page has a map of the intended route, the actual flight, and then the various other things, including via milk truck.
Yeah, so lots of
you're right.
Yeah, lots of Thanksgiving in that movie.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and it's I personally am not a huge Steve Martin fan, but Steve Martin is such a fucking dick in this movie that my hatred of him makes me enjoy it better. This is a great film. It's a classic John Hughes. Let's feel sympathetic for a fucking asshole in Chicagoland who lives in a mansion movie.
Yeah, but his wife has a 5 head, kind of like me.
Yeah, that's.
It's almost unfortunate. This is one of the few Thanksgiving movies that ever existed because it's truly a classic comedy.
Yeah, it's great. It also reminds me, I was watching the most recent Red Letter Media review, and there's a great insult where Mike accuses Jay of growing up rich because Mike didn't have cable, but Jay did. So he says that Jay actually lived in the Home Alone mansion. Like that was his real house in like the suburbs of Chicago.
Ben Stein is also in the movie.
Ben Stein is in it. Gus, I don't know who that actor is, but he's in it.
Why, that's Charles Tyner. Anyway.
Oh, Charles Tyner, of course.
So yeah, that's what you have to dethrone.
Okay.
Go ahead and try.
Luckily, we have it. Now, I'm going to let Doug do the driving here, but we should say that even though this is on point, 100% a Thanksgiving classic, it neither takes place on Thanksgiving nor even mentions the word.
I don't know. Hey, is this the 1999 film, the 2017 film, or the God Dethroned album?
This is the 1999 film.
Okay.
And everyone in Metal Nation is obligated to watch it with your family this Thanksgiving. Turn off the Vikings game. No one cares what the Vikings are going to do.
But they're one of the most metal teams, I thought.
I mean, they are a pretty metal team, but number one, their quarterback is a COVID vaccine critic. They're way too purple for Thanksgiving. Turn that game off and watch this new Thanksgiving classic.
Those are all good points.
All right, so we are, of course, talking about Ravenous from 1999, starring Guy Pearce, Robert Carlyle, Jeffrey Jones, and I'm not going to say it stars David Arquette, though I think
David Arquette is in it.
Yeah. It's a movie about the consumption of meat, about westward expansion, about the what's the Mexican Mexican War.
Yeah, the Mexican War. It's really, I would say, about Manifest Destiny, and what's more Thanksgiving than Manifest Destiny. It's about the relations between the settler inhabitants of this country and our indigenous forebearers. It's about human cruelty and also compassion. Everything that makes Thanksgiving good and hopeful is in this movie.
And strong emotions between men.
Yeah, very strong emotions between men.
Brokeback Mountain?
Not really.
Here's a quick aside. Remember when everyone freaked out when they announced Heath Ledger was gonna play the Joker? And yeah, they're like, oh, the guy from Brokeback Mountain was gonna be the worst Joker ever. And then you know what happened, and now everyone wants to be that Joker. And then when Jared Leto got it,
and then,
I guess my point is comic book movie fans are dumb. That's my point.
Who was the other guy? Was it Jude Law? Who was the other guy in Brokeback?
I think it was Jack Nicholson.
Oh,
no, wait, that was the Joker.
Was it Jake Gyllenhaal?
Jake Gyllenhaal. All right. I'm gonna just throw this out here, Doug. Now, this future reality requires Heath Ledger to be alive, but I think Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal would be amazing in a remake of Ravenous.
Yeah, that would have worked.
They would equally be good in either main role.
Yeah.
That would be just incredible. Okay.
And it's almost like they need to remake the movie so people watch the damn original. Because this is a classic horror film.
It's so great. I watched it again this morning, and I am so excited because I asked my roommate to watch it tomorrow morning, and I am butt-sized.
Butt-sized.
Butt-sized. In a 24-hour period. All right.
Yeah. It's a horror western with a lot of pitch black comedy. Basically, Guy Pearce plays a lieutenant who, out of cowardice, kind of falls to pieces during the middle of a battle in the Mexican-American War, and they assume he's actually dead. He's like comatose.
He hides in the corpse wagon.
Yeah, so he's in a corpse wagon, and then while he's there, the blood of someone above him drips into his mouth and fills him with this masculine vitality. And he gets out of the corpse wagon, shoots some people, and single-handedly takes over a Mexican fort in the name of the United States.
This already sounds amazing.
And the first scene is him being given this award, and the general knows he's full of shit, and actually kind of did all this through blind luck. And you get a feeling that something's wrong with Guy Pearce because he's very disgusted by the sight of meat. They're all eating ribeye steaks. And you would never see meat filmed better.
It's a great scene. There's like rows upon rows of soldiers at this big table. It's some fort the Americans have captured. It's just festooned with American flags. Everyone has a big, bloody, like ribeye just sitting on their plate, and everyone starts tucking in, and Guy Pearce is freaking out and runs and vomits. And the general says, "You're a fucking coward. I'm transferring you to California," which has just been conquered by a year ago in the Mexican War. So they just transfer him out to Fort Spencer?
Fort Spencer.
Hey!
Fort Spencer, eh?
Too bad Dave's at a fucking fish show. We are not recording this on Thanksgiving, if that wasn't obvious.
I mean, would anyone not believe that Dave would miss Thanksgiving dinner with his family to go to a fish show? Especially if he was miracled.
Oh gosh. I hate you for saying that word.
Well, Thanksgiving is a time for miracles. Okay, so he goes to
again, wrong special.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and so this is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and it's a bunch of sort of outcast folks and some American Indian trackers who live in this outpost. And one day, there's some stuff about establishing things here. I think we see multiple times Guy Pearce's very tenuous relationship with what most people consider to be food at this point in time. And a stranger comes into town with spinning a tail. He seems rattled and expresses that he's famished, but seems awfully what's the opposite? Virile.
Yeah, he is both. He claims so. He's frostbitten. They have to warm him up. He's very ill. But when they revive him, he says he hasn't eaten in 3 months. And they're various. The people in the fort are all archetypes, I guess. So like there's Jeffrey Jones, who is the kind of learned, fatherly commanding officer. He plays Colonel Hart. So he's kind of the leader of this band of misfits, and he wants to read books. He's a military man, but he's a learned man. There's Major Knox, who's drunk this whole time. There is Private Reich, who is just a hard-ass soldier. Colonel Hart advises Guy Pearce to avoid him. And Private Reich says, "You're a little too, you look a little too well fed to have been starving for 3 months. You don't look like you haven't eaten for 3 months." And Robert Carlyle says something like, "It's not that I haven't eaten. I just haven't had what you would call food."
Well, the line is, so he spins this story, right, about he was part of a, Oregon Trail type trail, I think, from Chicago, somewhere in the Midwest, to California. I think it was 3 families.
It was 6 people.
6 people, right. And connecting all the dots, as I actually say this out loud, but they're led astray by the Colonel Ives, who was their guide out to California.
A cruel man.
A cruel man, yeah. And eventually they don't clear the Sierras before the first onset of snow. So they all take up in a cave. They eat all the ox. They eat the cattle. They eat the chickens.
Horses. They eat their shoes. They eat their belts. And there's no food to be had. Yes, Tim.
Did they eat any turkey?
No turkey.
Follow-up
which is
question.
funny you mention it because only male turkeys gobble. That's your first turkey fact.
Oh, that was
a
a
joke.
fact. That was a fact.
Fact. All
Hey.
right. Okay.
Can a turkey jump higher than a house?
Can a turkey jump higher than a house?
Yes, because houses can't jump.
Ah!
All right, go on.
That would work with anything.
I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So at this point, yeah, it's the line is. I said there was no food, not that there wasn't anything to eat.
That's it. That's right. That is it.
And this is when we learned that when the first person died, they
Reluctantly ate him.
reluctantly, and it was Colonel Ives who's the greedy one, not the
Oh, he was
narrator. What's his name? Colquhoun.
Colquhoun. Yeah. So Robert Carlyle says he was ravenous and really pushing for them to eat.
And I think
so-
it should have lasted months, but it only lasted weeks.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Yeah. And then someone else dies. And basically, Robert Carlyle says his turn was up. So he escaped. But Colonel Ives and
Wait, his turn
Mrs.
to eat or to be eaten?
his turn to be eaten, basically. So Colonel Ives
Did they
and
learn anything from alive? You got to eat them in the order they die. You don't.
Mrs. McCreary, what's her name? So basically, the evil, ravenous cannibal, Colonel Ives, and Mrs. McCreary, like the only woman on the expedition, are still there. So immediately, says Robert Carlyle, so immediately they form a rescue party. It's 2 or 3 days march, I believe. So they all get together and 5 of them or something strike out into the wilderness. There's some debate whether they should do this, but Jeffrey Jones says that's why we're here.
And
they go out.
Robert Carlyle was sort of, he steps up to the plate and volunteers to lead this group.
Yeah. And they say, "What? Well, you've been saved. Why do you need to go back?" And he says, "Without me, you'll never find it." So he joins the expedition. They make their way to the cave. So there's this stupid piece of shit character who gets hurt, but I forget exactly how he gets hurt.
He's holding up something. I forget what he's holding up or why. And then he sort of falls down, and then Howard eviscerates his side. The right word is, and so every night they spend the night in a communal tent, and so he has to get his side all
It's a big laceration
bandaged
in the
and
side,
it's
so it's all
oozing.
bandaged up.
And then you hear some rustling and then some screaming. And then they, bring in the light, and the guy screams, "He was licking me," as he looks at Robert Carlyle, who looks kind of like, it reminds me of Max von Schreck and Nosferatu. He's got just a drop of blood on
he
his
has
lips.
like a little smudge of blood. And Robert Carlyle says, "I was dreaming. It was a nightmare." And the guy's all freaked out because Robert Carlyle was licking the blood of his wounds. But Robert Carlyle is protesting it was just a misunderstanding.
And I think he says, lock me up. I can't be trusted."
Yeah.
So they do. And eventually they find the cave. And Robert Carlyle kind of just starts freaking out at this point and standing in a corner. And then Guy Pearce and the soldier, Reich,
Private Reich.
go into the cave. And Guy Pearce, it's a great performance because there's nothing heroic about the character. He's just a pushover. And the private has to order him around.
Even though
And
he's a captain now.
and they descend into the cave. It's 2 levels. I think is there a trail of blood at one point?
There's like detritus and blood, but there's nothing firm. And they descend deeper and deeper until, and I think it's just the private, because I forget where Robert Carlyle goes.
Well, Robert Carlyle is he's the one outside. Guy Pearce doesn't go. Yeah, he's
Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce for some reason stays up top, and the Private Reich descends into the lower part of the cave. And this is like some nice like quick cut editing. So they keep descending into the cave deeper and deeper. And meanwhile, Robert Carlyle is acting more and more animalistic, and he starts like digging in the dirt like an animal, like a dog, really.
And it must. This would be a good time to mention this movie has a absolutely brilliant, astounding kind of minimalist score.
Yeah,
that is just going crazy during all this, and it's an amazing build-up.
But it's just like a drone. It's like a droning, like it's just like the music of insanity, like, and so it's just, but not that annoying. Like well done.
Yeah, it's like traditional instruments, but assembled through loops. It's it's great.
And so finally, Private Reich sees 5 skeletons strung up and stripped of all their flesh.
Oh, was there a ghost?
Well, he counts. Was there a ghost?
Yeah. Like if you crossed a turkey with a ghost and, it's a poultrygeist. All right, so he's counting something.
He counts skeletons. He sees a discarded colonel's uniform on the ground and realizes it's a goddamn trap. He led them there. Robert Carlyle did, to eat them. And so the big fight ensues. Robert Carlyle has pulled out a knife. He kills the Indian scout. He kills Colonel Hart. A fight ensues. They scramble up mountains. He kills Private Reich, who's the best soldier. He kills him, and Guy Pearce only survives by jumping off a fucking mountain and ends up like next to Reich's body.
Yeah, essentially out of cowardice.
Yeah, again, he's not brave. He just doesn't want to fight. He doesn't know what to do, so he just.
And the next part, this whole sequence is amazing and absurd, but he sort of gets caught up in the guy's body, and they go tumbling and tumbling and tumbling until they land in a pit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess it turns out that the Reich isn't dead and briefly tries to strangle him. And then Guy Pearce has a broken leg that with a bone protruding. And he pushes it back, and now we get to a sort of moral question Guy Pearce faces, in that he can survive this. He knows what to do, but will he do it?
Yeah.
And there's a great scene of Robert Carlyle after he's done killing and presumably consuming everyone, walking around. It's kind of ambiguous as to whether he knows Guy Pearce is in the pit. But it's all framed just like out of Nosferatu, actually. The moon, it's a very conscious, well-done homage. And eventually, Guy Pearce makes the decision to consume the soldier, which fills him with vitality.
Yeah.
And allows him to return to the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't believe the story. I think at this point, the general who sort of outcast him here shows up, and it's like, there are 4 men dead. Your story's bullshit. And doesn't he proposes an alternative story, doesn't he?
So much like the Commodore in that court-martial episode of Star Trek, he says, 4 men are dead. Your story doesn't make sense. Let's just say they deserted or something, and we can move on with this.
And unlike Kirk, he doesn't have the wherewithal to stand up to that. He just kind of, I think they lock him up. Yeah.
So Guy Pearce, I guess begrudgingly, he doesn't agree or disagree, but the general just says something like, think about it. And then he says, we need a interim commanding officer. I'm going wherever with the cavalry. I'll be back. But until then, they assign an interim commanding officer. Tim, who is the interim commanding officer?
Are you asking me? I don't fucking care.
Well, guess. What do you mean you don't care?
Is it? I'm not waiting for how this is Thanksgiving. Is it?
It's
I know.
goddamn-
Stop. I know you've been talking about eating this whole time, but
In America.
In America.
well, barely.
And
Okay. It gets more. It gets okay.
I don't care. Oh,
Manifest
Boyd.
Destiny.
Boyd gives in and eats a stew made from Nux. Yeah.
No, boy, it's Guy Pearce.
I don't
it's
care.
Goddamn.
You're
it's
calling them by
goddamn-
their actors' names too.
It's Robert Kyle.
And for anyone who wants to watch this movie, you're in the last paragraph of the synopsis. So
Well,
now no one
guess
has
what?
to watch it.
Guess what? It's,
Yeah?
You have to watch it to experience it, and you're going to watch it after you eat your
Am I?
Thanksgiving turkey. But it's Colonel Ives. It's goddamn Colonel Ives. It's
Okay,
Robert
I don't know who
Carlyle.
that is. Who is that?
It's Robert. It's the cannibal guy. It's the guy who tricked them. He's back as the Colonel now.
Okay.
Yeah, the same colonel who led the caravan
party.
astray
Uh-huh.
in his own story.
Right.
Okay.
And so
I'm
so
sure it's much
he-
more shocking when it's like on film.
Well, okay, it is much more shocking when it's on phone. So, okay, well, we got to speed it up now because Tim's losing interest.
I've lost interest
tells-
a long time ago.
Oh my God. He tells Guy Pearce, number one, he says he found Private Reich, who he's leaving. All right. So anyway, Doug, as we know, there's the great line where Colonel Ives tells Guy Pearce, I found your Private Reich, or at least what's left of him, because you didn't finish him. But I don't blame you, because he was tough, like a good soldier should be, right? So it's like a meat kind of thing. And then so Colonel Ives, aka Robert Carlyle, says his plan to Guy Pearce, which is manifest destiny, means that people are going to keep moving west. And this
Not
means
true.
people will cross by their path, and they just have to sit there and make a home base and just eat all these people as they pass by. And eating people gives you power. When you eat people, there's a whole Native American myth thing that we kind of fucked up, but it gives you the power and strength and healing when you eat people.
Sounds like Jesus to me. Now it's a religious thing.
Actually,
Yes.
you're right. Because when the Native American scout is explaining the myth to Colonel Hart earlier in the movie, and Guy Pearce says, do people still do this? The Indian scout says the white man eats the body of Jesus every Sunday. Ah!
Okay.
Even though the
Which,
Protestant and probably
Technically wouldn't be true of many of the white men, most of the white men out here, would they?
Yeah, no, because they're Protestants, so probably not. But still, it was a good imagery. There's lots of weird Catholic imagery in here too, but let's just keep on moving. It was Slovakia.
We're waiting for the Thanksgiving. Go on.
Oh, hold on. That is the Thanksgiving.
That is the Thanksgiving, you asshole.
Is it?
America
the story of America.
is
Making
consuming
it in the
itself
wild.
to get the
eating
powers
meat.
of the weak
I guess.
to make ourselves stronger.
Anyway, we won't go. Let's save some stuff. for
Yeah,
the
you know what?
viewers. Well,
We are not going to tell you how this movie ends.
Yeah, they only got 98% of
No,
it out
it's
there.
like no. You know what? First of all, fuck you, Wikipedia, because like this whole like paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like the first. It's only an hour 40 minutes. You can still. It's just enough time to watch after a big dinner. These like 5 paragraphs here cover the first 40 minutes. The last hour is just this fucking paragraph and a half at the bottom. So that's Wikipedia's fault, not our fault. It's a great movie. It's about eating meat. It's about man consuming man. It's very homoerotic. It's about the decision of whether or not you're going to eat your fellow man. The two main characters end up, we won't tell you how, but face to face, just looking at each other's eyes. They die in each other's arms. Jeffrey Jones is in it. Ignore his criminal past, or in this case, criminal future. It's a great film. Everyone should watch it for Thanksgiving. Fuck you, Tim.
If you ever wanted to know what happens when you stick a human body in a bear trap,
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it sounds like an interesting movie. It's just nothing.
If you ever wanted to, ever wondered what best way to prepare a major, whether it's a fricassee or a stew or a souffle, you can find that out.
and I think since they were celebrating, was Thanksgiving even a holiday at this point?
No.
No. I mean, I believe Thanksgiving doesn't even really become a holiday until Lincoln's time. I mean, I think there are like Thanksgivings, but it's not a national holiday yet.
Well, my point is some of the physical and metaphorical consumption we've described would take place exactly when Thanksgiving is celebrated.
I mean, if anything, this episode of American history demonstrates the importance of Thanksgiving.
Does it?
Because, fun fact, many of these men in the Mexican War went on to fight the Civil War. And many of those men fought under the command of General Ulysses S. Grant, who signed the law making Thanksgiving a yearly appointed federal holiday. So if it weren't for these men, like Colonel Ives and General Sultan or whatever his name is, there would be no Thanksgiving. And I would hope that people like you, Timothy, who have no appreciation for fine cinema, Guy Pearce, Robert Carlyle, eating people's brains.
I said it sounded like a good movie. It's just
Well, why aren't you watching it right now? Oh, fuck. I ran out of turkey facts. Hold on. I know how to cut the mood. Tim,
I just don't
did
think
you
it's
know?
a Thanksgiving movie. And your explanation there is both of them are tenuous at best. But
What are you talking about?
we should leave it to the listener to tell us
Okay.
who's right. Are
Okay,
you-
I guess that's...
Are you
I guess that's
incorrect, like Doug and Matt, or are you correct like me? And you don't think this movie's a Thanksgiving movie? But I will watch it before I render my
On
final
Thanksgiving?
judgment. No, I'm going to watch it before Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, can you
Yeah,
just say you'll
so
watch
put
on
it below, put it downstairs.
Yeah.
Why Tim is wrong.
Uh-huh. Also, while you're doing that, you can contemplate on the fact that turkey snoods are made for mating.
Do you have anything else? Is there anything else?
I watch Ravenous. It's a great film.
I
Oh,
will watch
bonus.
Ravenous. I'm also going to watch
Bonus.
that Addams Family scene. I might not watch that.
I mean, that's a great scene. Watch
Oh,
Avalon.
and Avalon, yeah.
Watch them in this order. Adam's Family Values, Avalon, Ravenous.
Right. I think that's. Wait. Are we excluding planes, trains, and automobiles?
I mean, I think you should watch that too.
Well, I'm
Nick-
asking because you want to go. You probably want to go comedy, drama, comedy, horror.
comedy. I would not recommend watching Ravenous when it was dark out, though. So, okay,
Especially not if you're going to sleep in a tent or if you're wounded.
yeah. If you have any bleeding sores and you share a sleeping space, do not watch Ravenous. I would say, okay, how about this? The night before Thanksgiving, watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Because technically, very little of that movie takes place on Thanksgiving Day.
Wait, no. I know you're going to say watch Ravenous on Thanksgiving. Don't.
Yeah.
Watch it before and then have this argument at your table. And I realize this episode is going to air on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving.
So
Well-
you should have watched Ravenous yesterday.
I mean, the one thing I will say, the problem with watching Ravenous before Thanksgiving, so I usually have a big breakfast, but because I was watching Ravenous at at breakfast time this morning. I did not wish to eat and did not eat.
Well, how about
So
this?
I think
Watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles on Tuesday when he was supposed to leave New York.
Leave. All
There you
right.
go.
Yeah. Okay. What you should do is watch it in real time. So start watching it at like 5:45.
Oh, and then like every time they go to sleep, stop it.
And then you sleep when they sleep. And yeah, okay. And then you have the full experience. All right, that's done. Because you'll get home before Thanksgiving dinner. All right, 2, unless you're Del Griffith, and then you'll never get home because everyone's dead. Spoiler alert.
Maybe you watch it on Thanksgiving and then start fights at Christmas. I don't know whether Ravenous is a Christmas.
Okay, that's fine.
A Thanksgiving movie.
But get Avalon in there and the Thanksgiving scene from Addams Family Values. And watch, please watch the horrible 1990s trailer for Ravenous. Because
is it like a total lie?
Well, it's not. It's actually
In a world where
well, it's that guy
does
that guy does it, and so it's Ravenous has a lot of black comedy moments. Like it's very dark.
Why
but it's
didn't
also
you bring
very
that up
funny.
earlier?
Well, it's funny.
You're just-
like there's lots of like.
You're just talking about skeletons and actors I don't know.
I mean, it's like there's lots of banter. There's lots of like witty lines. I wouldn't say it's a funny movie, but it has funny moments. But
yeah, it goes through some significant tonal shifts that really work. It 100% commits to everything it does.
yeah,
But we should for the Patreon viewers do a video where we watch both versions of the trailer.
Yeah, we
Like
should
that.
because just to
Now
preview,
that's a Thanksgiving miracle.
So one version of the trailer, which I
No,
believe
don't
is for the
spoil it.
Blu-ray.
No, but you join the Patreon and then you find out.
Join the fucking Patreon, you piece of shit. And while you're doing that, you can think about the fact that the poop of turkeys determines if they're male or female, which I think is
does that
not correct. I think
Isn't
it
that
means, I
kind of
think what they should have
reductive?
written
Yeah.
is you can determine whether a turkey is male or female from their poop, and not this way.
There's a ding for your fact. So, that's got to be everything. We're
Yeah, I think we're well past time.
yeah.
Um,
So, have a happy Thanksgiving, and if you're a German and you want to, experience Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
eat too much and
I watch Ravenous.
tell everyone you're not going to bring up politics at the table, and then bring up politics at the table.
Yeah. Talk about Carrie Lake and how she was fucking robbed.
And Tim and Matt will see you at the toilet bowl.
Yes.
That's right, hon. And yeah, Metal Nation. If you see an attractive pilgrim, let him know that he's a Puritan.
What the fuck? Fact number 1. Turkeys are more than just big chickens.
I mean, I guess no, that's not a fact. They're not big chickens.
They're more than just big chickens. That was in scientific. That's in the Smithsonian Magazine.